Violet Evergarden is an interesting show, but not in the way that I expected. I expected a psychological drama about the nature of consciousness and human emotion. And the show does that, a little, but frankly the show doesn't have anything to say on that front. What I find far more interesting is what the show communicates by the details of how it's written and the sort of stories that it focuses on. If you were to oversimplify things, I think a large portion of this show could be described as Backstories the Anime. Violet Evergarden is the main character of this story, but in any given episode, it's important to understand that it's not her story that's being told. Most of the show seems like an anthology series about the lives of the people that she comes into contact with. And it's only over the course of the series that her story comes together and we see how all of these stories have shaped her. In any given episode, Violet is a framing device through which we can experience the stories of whatever character the episode focuses on. Violet experiences their stories with us, and over the course of the series, those stories help to develop her. But in episode 5, the episode in which Violet receives her first traveling job, the sort of story that she interacts with changes. Through the first 4 episodes, Violet had interacted with real people and learned from their stories by articulating them. In the 5th episode, however, her job is to write propaganda. Naturally, once the princess's dissatisfaction points it out to her, Violet becomes unsatisfied with the lie that she has been spinning and seeks out the truth. The public's reaction is also noteworthy. They ate up the lie, but their reaction to the truth was mixed. Those who recognized the value of how genuine the truthful letters were reacted positively, but others seemed dissatisfied with how mundane the truth was. The next episode deals with a different sort of fiction, although it isn't necessarily the focal point of the episode. Her job in this episode isn't to articulate anyone's honest feelings, it is to transcribe old dusty tomes before they decay. I'm sure there's plenty of truth contained within those texts, but the one passage shown to us deals entirely with superstition surrounding a comet, another lie, and this one causes hysteria. Following that, the 7th episode brings it all together and makes the point that I think the show has been driving toward this entire time. In this episode, Violet helps a man write a story about the loss of his daughter. In the story, she travels far away from him and loses the ability to return home. Violet recognizes the cruelty of this reality and questions it. How does she return home then? Her boat was damaged beyond repair. The answer is, she doesn't. An egg cannot be unbroken, things cannot simply go back to how they were, but this writer desperately wants there to be a happy ending to his story. So he lies. The sprite appears one last time and summons a powerful wind to blow the little girl back to her father. In my estimation, this playwright has committed the greatest sin that a writer can commit. He flinched away from the truth and told a convenient, comfortable, very kind lie. And the result? His story failed to prepare Violet for loss. Violet Evergarden is a story about the unreliability of fiction and its ability to derange. Violet had been fed a lie, and that lie made it more difficult for her to stomach reality. I firmly believe that fiction can be true. Personally, I can say that stories have helped me to learn things about myself and the world around me. Stories have the power to distill information in a very nuanced way that can speak directly to the core of your being. But with great power comes great responsibility. And sometimes writers are fucking cowards. Sometimes they fall short, sometimes they are weak. When they cannot bear to look upon the truth themselves, there's no way they can turn that truth on their audience. And when they fail to reveal the truth, well, it's less than ideal. This show shouts into your face that it is lying to you, and warns against relying on mere stories to learn about the world.